Atiku defrauded the world and Nigerians. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel. He called it World Press Conference, but it turned out to be an event to further defraud the world and especially Nigerians over his desperate attempt to secure Nigerians' presidency at all costs. I have read series of commentaries and intervention over the release of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's academic records by the Chicago State University, CSU, but I deliberately waited for that of Professor Farouk Barugi, my first news editor, and one of my very few practical journalism teachers for two reasons. One, I have known him over the years to be a chronicle of the truth. He is brutally frank. You may disagree with him, but you cannot fault his altruism and love for Nigeria. Two, he lives in the United States. He understands these nuances, culture, and traditions better than most of the intellectually disabled commentators who have suddenly become experts on the subject matter under discourse. What I therefore read his latest piece titled Ignorance of America that Atiku's lawyers and supporters betray, I decided to add my voice to the advocacy by christening my own piece, Tinubu, How Atiku Defrauded the World and Nigerians. I arrived at this conclusion after reading Prof. Bergi's piece. For the purpose of clarity, I will dwell in on two of the issues dissected by the erudite scholar in his piece. I did it because as a communication expert, I abhor disinformation, especially because there is just a thin line between disinformation and fake news. Therefore, to embark on disinformation just to influence public opinion amounts to fraud. For me, this is what the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and his handlers attempted to do with their World Press Conference. Atiku said CSC claimed that the certificate President Tinubu presented to INEC is fake. This is false. The school never said anything of such, and to infer that because the Chicago State University said the certificate with INEC was not issued by it, then it is fake, amounts to disinformation. For better understanding, see what Prof. Barigo said about it. Certificates are not used as legal proof of graduation from any school in America and therefore cannot be forged in the legal sense of the term. Only transcripts can be used as legal document to validate the genuineness of claims to have attended institutions, including secondary schools. Had Tinubu presented a counterfeit transcript to support his claim of graduating from the Chicago State University when he didn't, or merely to claim a higher GPA than he actually earned, even when he graduated from there, that would have been forgery in the legal sense of the term. Issue 2. Atiku claimed that as at the time President Tinubu applied to study at the Chicago State University, he was a black American, thereby suggesting that he had a dual citizenship. Again, according to Prof. Barugi, the claim is not only hilarious, but one born out of sheer ignorance. He noted that most Africans here in the United States especially choose black American as the closest description of their race when filling out their forms. Therefore, again, there was nothing like dual citizenship on the part of Mr. President. Finally, the battle to further determine the authentic winner of the February 2023 presidential election has shifted to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, some of the litigants and their media handlers have tried hard to disparage the judiciary, or using unprintable words to describe respected members of the bench. Apparently, to blackmail and intimidate them, they have forgotten that at the Supreme Court, no new pleas are made, no new facts are introduced. Besides, law and justice is devoid of emotions and sentiment. It is what it is. It is about facts and logic. At the Supreme Court, the parties are bound by the pleadings at the Tribunal Appeal Court, while the learned justices do a holistic review of a judgment vis-a-vis the position of the law and make their own pronouncements. They would either set aside the decision of the tribunal or they would rather uphold or set aside the decision of the tribunal. Omipidian, a journalist and public affairs analyst, wrote from Abuja. Well, for you to come outside and wait, first of all, you're waiting for Farouk Barogi to write. It means you are not totally independent. All right? Now, nobody is expecting Tinubu to be a saint, but they're also expecting him to come outside and say things that he knows. This is that position he is actually occupying. It's a presidential position, for crying out loud. So his certificate issued paying some people vary. Even professional thieves are calling Tinubu names. Those who never pass exams in school without bribe, expo, sorting are also calling Tinubu names. Those who rig or help their candidates to rig but couldn't win still join the abuse train. Those who regret that it is not their candidate that forged to win, by all means, we among those candidates that defrauded Nigerian before scream at Tinubu Wahala. Is Tinubu a saint? We are talking about the certificate forgery here. Tinubu is a drug baron. Tinubu is a thief. Haba. And please, how many people remember the Halliburton scandal? The integrity and good image of Nigeria is now at stake. President Tinubu should do the needful by honorably resigning to save the country's image and apologizing to Nigerians. This is the honorable way of going about it, and otherwise, he will never have a charismatic conscience and will of governance nationally and internationally. Okay, this matter is not that of Atiku becoming the president, but rather it is the issue of whether, from the clear and unequivocal dispositions of CSU, the certificates presented to INEC by Mr. Tinubu actually emanated from CSU. The facts speak for itself. It does not take America a minute to disown whoever want to play on the intelligence. It is a matter of mail in seconds. But with the Chicago State University current register swears a note to confirm that Bola Ahmed Tinubu studied and graduated from the Chicago State University. I guess you do not know the implication of lying on oath in US. This whole article is anchored on disinformation. If in the US certificate does prove graduation from school, why is it issued? This is serious disinformation. Certificates, as the name implies, and form its content anyways attest to the fact that the person whose name on it therein undergoes a certain program in Nigeria. Certificate is not inclusive. Certificate is a conclusive proof of graduation from school, except otherwise proved, as in the case of. All right, Mr. Man, are you justifying Tinubu certificate forgery? You are indeed a morally deranged animal. Abba. We're good. At the end of the day, now make this whole thing, make we see what Supreme Court will talk. That is the main issue here. Alright, on those notes, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for turning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.